What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of There's Insurance for That. We are your host. My name is Nate Brown.
And I'm Edwin Moreno, and today we're going to be talking about the living benefits of a life insurance policy, which is interesting. It sounds like a conundrum to me because it's like usually, in a life insurance policy, what I've been taught is that the limits is after you're no longer on this plane, right? Like when you're no longer here, you pass, that's when the life insurance kicks in. But I guess Nate is telling me and telling us that there are ways to have living benefits in
Yeah.
these policies where you're getting a payout while you're alive. Like while you're still here, there are ways or there are policies that give you, as you call them, living benefits. Can you break that down for us, Nate?
Yes. So living benefits is something, it's a new adaptation that's been happening over time. Because yes, before that, life insurance was really people thought of it as like death insurance. Like when I die, they can cover my headstone and my burial and give some to my wife or kids or generations after me, however it's set up. But then over time, people were like, I don't like this. What happens if something happens and I'm still alive? You know what I mean? What can I do to make sure I'm able to get some kind of money? And so what happened was people had certain scenarios happen, like like what if you have a life insurance policy and you go in a coma after a car accident for 2 or 3 months and you're on life support? They don't know if you're going to make it. They're like, what happens in that case? Like, I can't work. I can't pay the life insurance policy. I've been paying this for 20 years and then it lapses. And if I passed away, I don't get anything. Or if I recover, what happens then? And so the life insurance company said we have to come up with ways to have living benefits. So the living benefit started with something called an accelerated death benefit rider. So if you get a life insurance policy, you can call it living benefits for short, but the technical term is accelerated death benefit rider. It means like, here we're going to accelerate this here while you're living. We're going to give you this money up ahead, and it's usually because of a certain condition. So living benefits isn't like IUL money or participating whole life money or infinite banking money where I'm taking money out of my cash value. This money is coming from your death benefit, like what your family would have gotten, once you pass away. So for example, it's mostly three criteria. So if you happen to get a terminal illness, like you said, doctor says, hey, you got 12 months to 24 months to live because of this situation, then you can actually take that doctor's note and send it to the life insurance company. Say, hey, I know I got a $200,000 policy. I want X amount right now while I'm alive. And some carriers can give you up to 100%, and some don't. Some will give you like up to 75% or different things. Different carriers have different thresholds, but they could be like, oh, you know what? All right, I'm. If he says the terminal, I don't need to travel the world. So hey, just cut me this check, life insurance company. I'm about to travel because I got terminal something, or I got something else. So terminal illness is one of the things they first started saying like, hey, this person's gonna pass away, man. Like let's give them some
Right.
money to enjoy their time, or they may need that for if they don't have the type of health insurance or other things in place, they might need it for hospice care or for something else. They may need it for something. And part of the reason why they don't tip, you can get up to 100%, but they try to set parameters like we'll give you 75%, and then 25 because miracles happen. Some people recover from certain things.
Right.
It's happened, and they're like, "Dang, now I got no life insurance." They're like, "No."
Right. There's no limit because what they used up is the limit, is like the benefit. And so
Yeah,
if they do 100%, you get paid out 100%, you're fine, let's say. And then they're like, okay, now you don't even qualify for life insurance probably because of that illness that you had or because of that
yeah,
diagnosis. So that's a really big, that's a really good point I never thought about of for that living benefit that it's like if it's 100%, maybe, maybe you want to like just be careful with that because if you do use up all that money, then you're fine after,
Yeah.
like you said, a miracle, something happens, you have there's no benefit. There's no coverage at the end. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this. This has to be like a diagnosis from a doctor, right? Like you need to be
Yeah.
like, I mean, like the company's gonna ask for paperwork and ask for like proof of like your illness or whatever it is that allows you to claim that money, right?
So yeah, it definitely has to be a doctor's note for sure. So you can't just say, "Oh, I don't feel good." Here, life insurance company are falsify, and they do their homework. They're going to make sure they request medical records sometimes or things like that, just to make sure that everything's legit before they just fork over a check. And so they make sure that the condition you say you have is a real condition. Um, some companies don't give you what's like the whole 100%. They'll give you like a policy reduction or something. And they'll say like, well, it's accelerated. We're going to give you up to 75%, but 25% is still going to keep the death benefit. And they may even say, if you do recover something that now your premium will be lower because you're only covering, this amount, or it's various stipulations, or they'll have an actuary discount where it's like you're not receiving 100% of the face value in cash. It's they're paying it out early, so they might say, hey, this was due to pay out, up to 100 years old or something, but you got sick at 50. So various carriers will have various stipulations in their accelerated death benefit rider. So it's something that you definitely want to read up on, So, and these things are in place because, of course, man, there are people who've tried insurance fraud. And there are people who tried a payday and they said, we got to put certain stipulations in place. So that's the terminal illness. So the next one is a chronic illness. So if you can't perform two out of like the five that they call them ADLs, or activities of daily living. So for example, if you can't bathe yourself or dress yourself, but you can still feed yourself or walk or something like that. But as long as two of those things are, something like out of whack, and it's like a chronic illness, like I don't know, it's so many different things. Like, hey, you can't eat right. You got a certain kind of a chronic bronchitis, or you got a something like, you can't feed yourself or you can't dress yourself. It may limit you from how to work or just how you live in life. That's
Yeah.
considered a chronic illness. And then you can get that
I think
doctor's note and send it to them. And then they say, okay, now you can access your accelerated death benefit. We'll give you some money up front because of that situation. So that's
okay.
another thing. So if you have a chronic illness,
Is
um,
MLS like, 'cause I know sometimes like some people have like a back injury at work and then they end up having like MLS because of their back injury. And MLS, it's like, you can't like you can't, it's hard to dress yourself, like it's just like it's hard to eat. Like it
mhm,
makes it really difficult to do like simple
yeah,
tasks.
yeah,
Um,
MLS, multiple sclerosis, Lyme disease, something that disables you, something that cripples you, something like that,
right.
kind of illness that prevents you from doing, just regular everyday stuff that you could do before, then yeah, you will be able to send that over to the doctor. I mean, to the insurance company. The doctor's no
Okay.
no verification, and you can accelerate your funds then. And the third one is critical illness. So that's something more like a heart attack, stroke, cancer. If you get a critical illness, you can advance a portion of your policy. Most critical illnesses don't give you 100%, but they'll give you like maybe 80% or something like that. Because some people do, they recover. Um,
Right.
my first story about that was that I always heard about was a guy who got cancer. I think it was stage 3. So he had to do the chemo radiation. So he, called his insurance company, said, "Hey, I got cancer. I still got bills to pay. I'm going to be missing work. So I need about 75,000 out of my policy to make sure a mortgage is paid and all that stuff, so we don't miss a beat. And I'm gonna just go ahead and do the chemo and all that stuff." And he did. He beat the cancer, he recovered and everything like that. His job, thankfully, said we're gonna keep your spot open for you. But at least during that time, that devastating time as the breadwinner, his family didn't miss a beat financially. They were able to
Right.
accelerate some of the money that he would have passed. They would have passed on to his family while he when he passed. They said, let's allocate this while he's living. Then he has this critical illness, and so
Wow.
that's some of the good things that you want to consider in a life insurance policy because you never know how life is going to unfold for you, right? Like you
Yeah,
just don't know.
and
So
Nate, I want to ask, just like I want to confirm this for like for listeners and for viewers. Um, what is like this isn't automatically added, right? Like this has to be like, is this endorsed? So endorsed, I know insurance terms, so just to let y'all know, like it's something that we use in life insurance and in property. I focus more on property and casualty insurance, but endorsement is a term that is used across all insurance, which means adding something that isn't automatically on a policy, right? It's making a policy, it's changing something to a policy by adding something to it, endorsing the policy. And so, is this automatic? Like, if I get a life insurance policy, do I automatically have this coverage?
some carriers you do, like Foresters Financial. If you get a policy with them, living benefits automatically included. It's like
Wow.
yeah, like Pan
Shout
American
out, shout out to Foresters Financial. That's really
Life.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, Pan American Life, Mutual Trust Life, living benefits included. And
Okay.
it's funny because most term policies would never have a living benefits, but that's been evolving. Um, oh my gosh, what's the company? Transamerica just started doing not too long ago a term policy with living benefits. You know, National
Wow.
Life Group has arguably some of the best living benefits like out of any
Okay.
insurance carrier. So there,
Okay.
it's a lot of carriers that have, of course, they're always in competition to try to make it, our company is better than yours or offers more than yours. So they're offering a lot of things included in their policies nowadays, and they're trying to make some of the stipulations to access the funds a little easier. Like NLG will they have a lot, it's easier to access like their living benefits and some of their policies
Got
than
it.
maybe some other carriers. Some other carriers may say, hey, we're going to make you jump through some hoops to show
Right.
that you really do this, or you may have to show this chronic illness for 6 months or more before we
Before we can actually pay out. Right.
it's like, oh, you're
Okay.
going through hell financially before you get that breakthrough. So it's just
Wow.
uh, various things. So, but the companies have been getting better over time, which is pretty cool. The another thing about this, again, because it's a life insurance policy, this money that you get accelerated, you don't have to include that as income. So that's tax free. So you don't have to pay any taxes on that. It's not taxable income. It's just life insurance proceeds. So that's another cool perk to having uh, life insurance. So you got to definitely do your homework on your carriers. Some people are just looking for the price, and it's one of those things you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So a carrier might be $10 more for the same amount of coverage, but they may have living benefits included and the other ones don't. So it might be worth paying that $10 more. So just, for an example. Yeah.
I just want to highlight that's a major key just for everyone that's out there watching, listening. Um, you know, the education piece here is like there's so many companies that are advertising life insurance, advertising homeowners, auto, they're advertising all the products that they offer because they want to get more clients. And a lot of times in those advertisements, there's just like key details that aren't included in those advertisements.
Yeah.
And so, you mentioned some companies that I don't really see on TV. Like I don't see them advertising. I don't see them like I don't. And I'm guessing it's because they depend on their agents to share their products and to share the features of their products. And that's something that I want to like just let people know. It's like that's the beauty of like our channel, there's insurance for that, where people could come and ask those questions. We have there's insurance for that at gmail.com. We could
Yeah.
send out any inquiry of like, hey, look, this is what I'm looking to get, especially like just hearing this when it comes to life insurance, as you can see, Nate is a specialist. So Nate knows all these different carriers, what is that you're looking for, and will present the options that actually fit what you're looking to get for yourself without sugarcoating it, right? Because like it's like, hey, this is going to be $10 more, but you have this much more coverage for $10 more. And a
Yeah.
lot of times people are just kind of like, oh, you don't want to spend that much money? Okay, here's this option. I won't even present this to you because you say you don't want to spend that much money. But you might not know what happens if you spend a little bit more. And so that's major key. And I run into that a lot with different clients where I've had clients go with me and they're paying more simply because of the way I explained it and because they know that they have more value now.
The
Um,
value, man, the value, man, that's what you're really paying for, value. Like, and I'm not, I don't choose certain carriers over others for no reason. It's because I want to make sure people are getting the best value. If I'm doing an infinite banking policy, I'm going to put you on with the best infinite banking carrier. If you are a
mm,
family person, like I'm not this, I'm going to give you one of our policies that we've had for forever is with Foresters, and like for example, they don't only have the living benefits there, but they're a company that's big on family, and so to the point that they have like being a policy holder with them, you get extra perks that the
wow.
value have surmounted. Like my wife is taking my daughter to see the Michael Jackson movie Sunday. Guess who's paying for that? Foresters.
Oh, wow.
We've been
Wow.
to Bulls games and different fun events for children and things like that, and for families. And it happens ever so often. Every 2 or 3 months, they have different events.
Wow.
It's like you got a carrier that actually gives back out to their policyholders. So in some of those memories and events and the value alone is like, you're
So you're not, yeah, you're not just purchasing a policy, you're joining a community.
yeah,
You're making an
yeah,
investment. So you're not just like you're investing in yourself and literally your family in multiple ways. Like I didn't
exactly.
even know carriers like that existed, man. Like I
Yeah.
had no idea. It's almost like you're joining a club, but you're also getting benefits, like a life
That's
insurance.
exactly what they're called. They're called fraternal insurance.
Wow.
So like companies like Fortress Financials, another one is Royal Neighbors of America. That's another one. If you become a member with them, they send you a discount. You get discounts on trips, prescriptions, uh, sky's the limit, shopping.
Right.
I remember getting a 25% off some Adidas once because of Royal
Wow.
Neighbors. It's like movie tickets. They have like a membership like that,
Wow.
like a community involved. So you really do get what you pay for. Somebody will say, man, but it costs a little bit more. But the value that you're going to be get because
Yeah,
they
it's worth
believe
it.
in it should spill into your personal life. We should be able to, be a benefit to your personal life
Right.
because you're with us. So, definitely do your homework. Or again, if you're listening to this, if you have questions about your particular life insurance coverage or your carrier that you want to ask questions, go to there's insurance for that at gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to lead you in the right direction to make sure that you are capitalizing on living benefits that are just included in your in your policy. So
Right.
yeah,
Cool. Cool. Well, hey, you heard it here, folks. Nate, thanks for sharing this information. And yeah, I'm hoping people out there could grasp the value of just like of what's being put out on this channel. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, on our TikTok channel as well. We're uploading some stuff on there. And I think those are the only two platforms that we're on right now, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. Oh, I think we have an Instagram channel. We don't really have too much on the Instagram channel, but we're working on going on all major platforms. Just follow us,
yeah.
subscribe. Thanks. I think we're pretty much at time here, but is there anything else you want to leave off with, Nate?
I just want to say thanks for watching. Thank you for watching. Hope we've been, uh, informational and been a tool for something to look into. So until next time, stay tuned for there's insurance for that. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.